Erik and David, those betting magicians pitching mad numbers like surgeons' incisions. They got the stats playing minds like percussion. MLB predictions spark the discussion. Stacking cash higher than Fenway's monster. Slinging wild bets like cowboy imposters. Reading those innings like Nostradamus. Wave the green hot streets like Bahamas. Spreadsheets everywhere, mathematician minds analyze the games, profits they grind, fastballs, curveballs, every pitcher's tail, in their heads, knuckleballs never fail. Erik reading numbers like tarot cards, David calling shots like all-star guards, money lines, parlays, come hit with precision, home run predictions, no intermission. High stakes, ballers cashing checks in. Rise with the bets, swinging from the pen. Erik and David, masters of the scoreboard. MLB bets and claim they hoard. High stakes, ballers cashing checks in. Rise with the bets, swinging from the pen. Erik and David, kings of the ledger. Baseball fortune, spread them like treasure.
Hello and welcome to Diamond Bets for September 13th. How is everyone doing? My name is Erik, and I finally got my Oakland A's hat.
Let's go.
Finally got my Oakland A's hat. And this is my co-host, David, a.k.a. Josh Allen's #1 fan. How you doing today, my man?
I'm also, big fan of Mr. Cook tonight, cooking hard against the Dolphins. I'm enjoying this game thoroughly right now.
So for those who don't know, I'm going to Michigan. I'm gonna watch my nephew play a Rocket League football. 9 years old, playing tackle football. Start him young over at Michigan. So instead of recording on Friday afternoon like we normally do, this is Thursday night during the Bills. Absolutely, positively, total beatdown of the Miami Dolphins.
I love it.
And the game where I'm probably going to be out of the guillotine league because Josh Allen has 9 goddamn points. So, which is going to be a tough pill for me to swallow.
Yep.
Given the fact it's my league, now I have to do everyone else's work while I'm out.
Not out yet. Fat lady's just warming up. That's all.
Fat lady's starting to sing a little bit. But we're here to and 2 has officially been ruled out too. So yeah. We're here. We're talking about the MLB slate for September 13th, Friday night. Important to remember, everybody. If the pitcher listed is scratched, this is no action. Okay. We cap these on the pitchers going. So it's important to remind everybody it is just scrolling down the screen right now. Let's jump right into it and see how we did last week. Believe it or not, last week was our first negative week since we started doing this.
Yeah, pretty tough.
David hit the Mariners, lost the Giants and Blue Jays. I hit the Marlins, and Phillies hit the Marlins over by themselves, 7.5. Lost the Padres over and lost the Areza over. For the year, we are 34, 24, and 4 plus 12.95 units with an ROI of 21%. Can't complain about that, my friend.
Yeah.
Interesting slate of games. Really interested to see where your head's at. And you're going to the West Coast, man.
Yeah, actually, they're playing in Atlanta. So staying on the East Coast.
My bad.
But yeah, I'm going straight to my team, really. I wanted to look for some really good matchups, where it made sense to do so. And, I'm looking at this game. Dodgers at Braves, going to be one of the hot, series for the weekend here. Braves need every win they can get just to stay around with the wild card. But we all know, I said it last week, I don't see them pulling that out, right? So this isn't a fade on them for that reason. It's actually just, again, where my numbers go. Dodgers got Landon Knack as their starting pitcher going against the Braves, Spencer Schwellenbach. And yeah, try and say those names, a few times fast. Basically, the way that I look at this game, though, is, Knack is in much, much better form than Schwellenbach. Schwellenbach is actually sporting a whip of about 1.57. Anything over that 1.4 whip mark for myself, you got to stay away from that. But not only that, so Knack is actually sporting a whip under 1 at 0.85. I mean, the man is looking pretty good form for himself with really good bats for LA too. Dodgers are in my top 10. They're my number 8 overall rated offense against the Braves, number like 15 overall rated offense. Again, some of this is based off of numbers just coming into today, so this will get updated just a little bit in terms of the offensive numbers. However, I only can go off the stats in terms of where they accumulate to date. And like I said, we're recording the night before here, so just based on a few of these numbers here, a little early, a little premature, but they should stay with that. The way that I look at this game, like I said, Dodgers and Braves both have won 2 of the last 3 series for themselves. So, nothing to, sniff about. They're both in pretty good form from a wins perspective. But again, Dodgers just have an overall better edge for this game. Even their bullpen, is not taxed terribly in comparison. They're at a 1.2 whip. Braves bullpen's in good form too, 1.12. So, but the starting pitching is where you're going to have the edge. The overall offense of the Dodgers, you're going to have an edge as well. So I'm taking there. This is basically listed as a pick 'em, minus 105 for the Dodgers. I think it was minus 110 for the Braves, or even minus 105 for them too. But again, these lines are going to adjust, going in tomorrow. Where I see it right now is just a better overall offensive edge for the Dodgers coming into this series, taking this first game early against, a starting pitcher in Atlanta that's in poor form.
I like it. I like it. Anytime one of your teams loses because you're getting too cocky with the Bills, I am all for it. My next one, and look, my first one, I'm just going to start calling this one Mr. Reliable. Anytime against the right-handed pitcher, you can get a Reza over 1.5 total bases at plus money. It is just an absolute no-brainer to me. For the season against right-handed pitching, best batting average, 3rd most hits. Last 3 weeks versus righties, he has the most hits, and he's batting an insane 485. He's gone over this total the last 3 games. He's gone over this total 5 of 8 games this month, batting 440 for the month. Versus Webb in his career, 556 batting average, 556 on base percentage, 556 slugging percentage, and an insane 1.11 OPS. Last 3 starts against left-handed pitching, Webb has allowed a 412 batting average, 459 on base percentage, and a 529 slugging percentage. I think this is just a great matchup for Reza. There's no odds out yet. Worst case scenario, it's going to be minus 110. I'm just going to take it. Anything, if it's minus 110, higher than minus 110, I won't take it. But for the show, I'm going to say I'm going to take it.
Yep. Gotcha.
Next bet, my friend.
Yeah. So looking at the Cubs coming to Colorado, this is going to be an interesting matchup. But again, the Cubs are just in such better form with their offensive bats here. You got Assad going against Gomer as the listed pitchers. But I'm taking Cubs on the run line at minus 1.5. That's right. I want them to win by more than 2 runs here to hit this bet. But even money, the odds on them were streaming minus 150 and up on the money line. Started to get kind of away from, the odds territory and price range that I like to bet on a lot of baseball games. That being said, the Cubs here, both these pitchers are actually in really good form. It just comes down to the hitting for the Cubs. Everything about this matchup. Assad, over his last 3, sporting a whip of 1.2. Gomer, same over his last 3, sporting a whip of 1.1. I mean, these guys are in really, really good form, both on both sides of the ball there from a starting pitcher perspective. Bullpen-wise, the available bullpen for the Cubs, 1.2, and for Colorado is at 1.6. So again, I just think these offensive bats are going to get to the starting pitcher for Colorado early and often, and they can be able to hold it out through the entirety of the game with a great available bullpen for themselves. The Cubs, for the record, there is their offensive output right now has them ranked as my number 3 overall offensive team coming into this weekend series. So really, really love the bats for Chicago coming into this matchup. They'll get into the bullpen late in the game as well. They definitely. The other beautiful thing, I didn't mention this last week. I picked a lot of road teams. I'm really glad I just thought of this right now. Why do I love road teams so much? They're guaranteed 9 at bats the entire time of the game, right? They're guaranteed it. So I can definitely see them, like I said, just jumping out early, being able to get, guaranteed run support for their starting pitcher. They're just in really good form. So I really love where this team is at, and definitely can see this, being a game that they win by more than 2 runs.
I like that. I like that a lot. My next bet, going to the Phillies here. First 5, -0.5, -110. Last 3 weeks, Phillies have been elite versus left-handed pitching. 311 batting average, leads the majors, 9th most hits, with the 11th fewest plate appearance against lefties. So they're not facing a lot of lefties, but when they do, they're getting hits. Phillies first 5 on the spread as a favorite this season, 74, 34, 9, 68.5% ATS. Nola this year on the spread for the favorite first 5. He is the best record in the majors, 19, 4-1, 82.6% with an ROI of 25.7%. Did just get roughed up by the Marlins. But last 4 weeks, who's been the best offense against right-handed pitching that no one knows about? Miami Marlins. And righties good. You take them out the 4 games before that, and those include games against the Braves, Astros, and it was 2 games against the Astros, 1 against the Braves. I'm spacing another team. 1.16 whip, 1.44 ERA. I expect him to bounce back against the Mets. Last 3 weeks, Mets 2nd worst batting average versus righties, 4th lowest amount of hits, and scoring the 23rd fewest runs.
Damn.
I think they're going to struggle here against Nola. I am going to take the Phillies here, first 5, -110.
Nice.
Next one, my friend.
Yep. And so I'm kind of doubling down a little bit on what you were talking about with Giants and Padres earlier. I have this first 5 run total at over 3.5. That's the bet for this game. I think, would you say the odds were on this minus what, 112?
-112.
Yep. So that being said, we're taking the over in this one for a couple reasons. Both these pitchers are actually big names, but in poor form. And then you're talking about 2 offenses that are in the top 10 coming into this series. Basically, Padres, my number 10 overall rated. Giants, my number 4 overall rated offense. And then you got Logan Webb. Logan Webb is sporting a whip of 2 coming into this series. Like, from his form over his last few games, the man is getting rocked. I think you had just mentioned it earlier in terms of, slugging percentage and everything else with those stats. But again, I base, things off of, whip in terms of pitcher's current form. And, Logan Webb himself can probably give the Padres all 4 runs in the first 5 innings here. That being said, Cease isn't in that great a form for himself either. I'm getting some conflicting data that I'm looking at. I don't know. Some things just kind of updated a little bit differently. But overall, I'm looking at an average whip for himself of 1.4 coming into this. And again, that's where you have red territory for yourself in terms of form. So again, you're talking about San Francisco with hot bats, coming in, averaging, let's see what their run total average was again. Just want to make sure that I'm on the right page with that. Averaging 7 runs a game for themselves, and San Diego is averaging 5 runs a game for themselves. I mean, they both these teams are hitting top 10 offensive teams right now. I can just see them both lighting up both these pitchers that are in poor form. I mean, 3.5 is pretty low on the totem pole for the first 5 innings here. So can definitely see them, just getting to each of these pitchers early and often. Let's take that, run with it, get a great over total for ourselves here.
I like that. I like that a lot. And you know what? Hopefully it's an over total with the Padres winning after the first 5 innings. I'm pulling up our friends over at BetStamp, see if they have any odds up for the first 5. And they do. We're going to say minus 105 for the first 5. We're taking the Padres. Just went up over at Fanatics. Webb versus the Padres this season. 1.52 whip, 3.32 ERA. Not bad, right?
That's for the season. Yeah.
That's for the, no. That is against he's the two.
Just against. Okay.
Against
Got it.
But in both of those starts, he's allowed an average of 8. No, sorry, in those 3 starts, he's allowed the average of 8.3 hits per outing. Well, so what does that mean? People are getting on.
Yep.
They're not scoring.
Yep.
You and I both know stuff comes back to the norm.
Oh, yeah.
Webb, you mentioned not the good form. Last 3 games, 1.6 whip, ERA of 6.88. Last 2 games, 1.7 whip, ERA of 6.75. Padres, elite versus right-handed pitching this season. For the season, best batting average against righties, most hits, 5th most runs. Last 3 weeks, 9th best batting average, 4th most hits, 4th most runs. I have a right-handed pitcher coming into the game against probably the best offense in the league against right-handed pitching. And he's coming in awful form. This is a no-brainer to me.
Yeah.
This is an absolutely no-brainer to me. I'm taking the Padres first 5 minus 105.
Nice.
Whew. So just to review, I'm on. So basically all 3 of our bets are in one game. So I have a Areza over 1.5 total bases. David has the Cubs minus 0.5 at even money. I have the Phillies minus 0.5 minus 110. David has the Giants and Padres over 3.5 first 5. And I have the Padres first 5. Whew. So, real quick before I let you go, currently sweating out. I'm not even sweating out because it's like it's a freaking card, but I'm heavily invested in this kid, Roker, through 4 innings. Dude has 7 Ks. You know what, dude? Guess who's going to be selling some Bowman cards tonight? Rocker. Guess who's going to be selling some stuff?
Oh, boy. Go get it.
And hopefully Allen can get a TD because, goddamn, I need a freaking TD from him, preferably a rushing TD.
I think they're running the ball from now on.
I don't.
21.
I don't care if I lose my underbet. I want to survive at fucking this.
I think you might actually win the underbet. I mean, you're talking 10 points here. They'll get a field goal out of this at least, but I don't think Miami's going to score again.
Maybe we can get an Allen Tutty. If we get an Allen Tutty, I like it.
All right.
I'll take an Allen 24-yard scramble. But David, I'd like to thank you for coming on. Really enjoy doing the show with you. We're going to be back next week, still grinding it out. I'm going to be rocking my swinging Oakland A's hat. Still got to work on the bend. Like, it just came out of the box.
I get it. Can't have a perfect brim like myself. I get it.
You know what, dude? You know what? Not all of us are as lucky as you are in life, my friend. Make sure to give my boy David a follow on social media at bettorDP21. Myself at eTop21 Sports, and we'll be back next week. Good luck in your bets, my friend.
Yeah, let's catch